Well, good morning. I'm going to try this again. So, for those of you who tried to watch the live video this morning, I'm in St. Mary's, which is on East Glacier. I've been camping, so, what can I say? It's kind of crazy here. And I tried to do a live video, but between the wind, the Wi-Fi, and everything, and this is such an important message that I wanted to get in here. So the St. Mary's Lodge on the east side of Glacier National Park let me use the conference room and their Wi-Fi to do this. And they've been just wonderful at helping me out with this. So thank you. So, I went to the east side of Glacier National Park where it's quiet on Thursday after the big Tuesday energy dump because I needed to get off the grid. I needed to unplug and I needed to sit in nature. And I'm wondering if you're experiencing the same thing. So I've been happily having a campfire at night, enduring some rain and wind, and enjoying just being outside because there's something really powerful coming in that I want to be able to grab, and I was having a hard time doing that in whitefish. So this stillness is exactly what I needed, and I wanted to talk to you about. And I also want to talk about the concept of going from control to consciousness, because that's the piece in the Lion's Gate and that I thought was more important for me to just get back on, regardless of timing, to be able to talk to you. If you want to see what happened live, there's a previous video that lasts about 7 minutes, and you can sort of see the beauty of St. Mary's Lake behind me. But it was really hard to do this message. So that said, let's start. Let's start with the solar flares, because they've been at that level again of C1 to C4, sort of tapping us on the shoulder, making sure that we pay attention on how to stay in balance. Because this is how we show alignment. This is the Libra version of the Thoth deck. It's Mott, standing on a sword, keeping yourself in balance, right? And that's where we are right now. So let's start with the sun. These flares that are coming in are just asking us to pause, to notice, to align. They're not loud, but they're persistent. And they're so persistent that they keep asking us, what are you going to do? What do you need to do to stay in your own willpower, in your own strength, and in your own direction, right? So that's what's been going on with the flares. The geomagnetic field has been anywhere between calm and unsettled. So the KP index has been going from KP1, mostly 2 to 3, somewhere in there, which has been reflected a little bit on the length and the duration of some of these energy pulses that we're seeing on the Schumann. So the Schumann's been lining up with that as well. Okay, so before we go into control and in consciousness, I want to talk about two people that I found on Facebook this week. Because Pam Youngins and Milton Foster have a tendency to put some really good pieces in front of us that I want to bring to your attention. And one of them is Amanda Lorence. So Amanda Lorence is this quiet, gentle English woman who lives in a caravan and does these broadcasts maybe 5 to 6 times a year. She doesn't do them often, but she came on and she said this thing that happened she broadcasted on the 31st to say that happened on the 29th of July was this big energy wave that came in and that knocked us off. It was on July 29th, right? She described it as a different kind of incoming frequency. It was stronger, it was patterned uniquely, and it was here to land on Earth, and it was here to land in us. So this wave wasn't just sort of like an awakening, like, oh, what's going on? It was this deep integration of change. So it means that we need a lot of rest, we need to hydrate, we need to sleep deeply, we need to receive love, light, assistance, ask for assistance from others, let people give to you. It's phenomenal being here at St. Mary's Lodge and having so many. They know I don't even stay here. They know I'm camping up the road, and they're just like, what can we do to help you out? So if you get a chance to come to St. Mary's, definitely stay at this lodge. It's wonderful. Be in nature. Get outside, touch, let the leaves, let the water, get yourself in water, rest, all of that stuff, right? And stop trying to push through, because the striving isn't going to work anymore. And that's not the place to put our willpower. What we're really doing is we're creating some sort of a new beginning. This is the Ace of Pentacles. We're looking at how do we integrate and start something absolutely brand new from scratch. So second person was Daniel Scranton. And he talked about galactic preparation, which I thought was so interesting, because he talks with the Arcturian Council, right? And he shared that we're being prepared, that these plasma waves coming in are physically, emotionally, and energetically preparing us for extraterrestrial contact. And I thought, well, is it contact? And do I really want to say that? Or do I want to say that extraterrestrial consciousness that exists other places off planet, off this planet Earth, that we are now beginning to hold? So it brings in this consciousness, because these galactic frequencies that are coming through on the plasma fields, they stimulate our cells, they upgrade our nervous system, they teach us in our bodies how to hold more light, how to hold perception, and how to hold presence. So with this beginning of this, we can call it enlightenment, we can call it ascension, we can call it expansion, we can call it intelligences that are working with us. These plasma intelligences are our consciousness that are moving into our body, into our groundedness, into our forms, right? Not around it. And so what's happening is we're going to experience changes in our relationships. Changes in our relationship with money, how we make money, how we spend money, what we want to put our energy towards, our health, even how we solve problems and make choices. Because now we're coming from a much more balanced state, right? With everything is aligning with the frequency of truth. So if you haven't had a chance to read my Indigo assignment book, I suggest that you do, because it's all about the indigo frequency of truth. Whether you're in indigo or whether you're impacted by the frequency of truth that's now expanding and growing on our planet, it gives you an idea of what that seeding was all about. So you can get it on Amazon. The link is down below in the description. Okay, so the main transmission that I wanted to do today was between consciousness and control, because it's been so loud inside of me, and I talked a bit about this in the previous recording, that it kind of started tapping me on Tuesday. I was like, what is it? It's something in control. It's consciousness and control. And then it was like, write down this, think about this, talk about this. And it was like I was being tapped all week. And even in the middle of a camping trip, it's like, turn on the headlamp, get the piece of paper out, and start writing this down. I didn't even look. The whole campground was asleep, and it was kind of fun. So let's break it down. Let's first define consciousness, because consciousness is awareness. It's an awareness of yourself, of your sensations, of energy, of the environment around you, right? So when we're talking about consciousness, it's a perception and it's a presence, right? It's warm. It's everything that comes into our field and works with us. It's a living intelligence. And so when I'm conscious, I experience fractals of information coming in, gifts from the universe, gifts from the energy, right? That are giving me the backstory behind people, that I can feel their intentions, and I know what's being asked of me at the moment. So it's like instead of thinking this way, it's like now my consciousness is an awareness of how everything interplays at all times. So for me, I would say my clairs are awake, and they're working. My clairs are awake, all of my clairs, and they're working with my pineal gland and with my gut intelligence, and they're aligning my nervous system. So I don't direct them. I let them move through me. I let them inform me, because I can't control or direct this level of consciousness, which takes us to control, which on the other hand, in the word I used, is effortful, right? It wants to regulate, it wants to direct, it wants to restrain, it wants to influence. It relies on systems and order, hierarchy, and dominance, right? So for most of us, this is how we learn to trust the world, is that if we can dominate it, if we can control it, if we can bring this into a system or into order, then we know we have control. And that is false. It's absolutely false, because we're not trained to handle the unknown. We're not trained to understand the metaphysical. We're not trained to understand the unpredictability that happens when we awaken these perceptions within ourselves, right? So this is where we're heading. It's like our perceptions are getting so much bigger, and it means we can't herd them, we can't organize them, we can't put them in a system of control anymore. And we're like, oh no, right? So I do a moon card, right? And if in the moon phase, I do the moon phases with tarot cards. And the card for right now is the Two of Wands, Dominion, right? Whoa, Dominion. And so when I've studied this in the past, and when I've used this in other videos, it's like this is Mars and Aries. This is when our willpower. And I love the Wonder Woman image, which is like, this is my will, and this is what I'm going to do. And so it's like we put this, boom, all of this energy out there, right? So it's raw, it's fire, it's willpower. It's the first motion to put spirit into matter. And it's when we solidify the directive, right? So when I look at Dominion in the Thoth deck, right? It's the declaration of inner command. And that's what we're looking at, is having this plasma intelligence coming in paired with the Lion's Gate, where we get to have a declaration to ourselves of our own inner command. Who are we? What do we want to create? What do we want to do? And how do we put that out there, right? So, this Thoth deck is also this in the Osho, which is possibilities, open to possibilities. And this one in the Light Seers, which is, she's got the two wands, she's got the picture of the van, the little trailer, the picture of the earth. She's looking out the window and saying, who do I want to be? Where do I want to go? And what do I want to explore? So, this one is much more dynamic. This one is much more, it shows the opportunities and potentials, the possibilities. And this one shows the humanness of what do we want to do with this, right? So let's just stick with this one right now and talk about that, which is its personal will aligned with divine authority. It's disciplined initiation. It's where we get to put our choice into everything that we do. And it's staking our energetic territory, which is, this is mine. This is what I'm going to do. And deciding, how am I going to command that? That's where we are right now. We get to use all this new energy and information and go, what do I want to, how am I going to command it? How am I going to follow it, steer it, is that the word? Work, partner with it, move with it. If it goes over this way, go, oh, I guess we're going this way. If it goes over that way, oh, here we go this way again. So I'm realizing that this Two of Wands came to me in my, I'm letting my moon phases influence the videos I'm talking about, because I'm letting the guides tell me what to talk about. And so what it says to me when I'm looking at this is the announcement that the Lionsgate portal of 8-8 has already started. We're in it, we're well within it, and we're starting to move that direction, right? So Lionsgate is when 8-8 comes in. It's August 8th, and it's when we're in Leo, right? And we're in this sovereign agency. And so I love this picture, which is, this is the King of Wands. I'm aligned with my sovereignty. And then if we look at the Queen of Wands, I showed this last week. These are the two, right? Which is what happens when fire, the Lion Gate isn't about forceful outcomes. It's about showing up with your fire within and saying, so in this guy, he's saying, like, I'm just going right straight at it with all of my fire. What she's doing is she's saying, look at how I play with all of this and how it works with me. I love how these two interact when we're talking about the conscious choosing of how you want to embody, how you want to broadcast, and how you want to build. Beautiful. It's embodied fire too. And I'm thinking, is there anybody else here? I guess, I don't know. I guess I would use these two again as embodied fire, which is, it isn't about rising up and out and saying, I'm leaving this, I'm burning through it. What it's really doing is saying, this is incarnational fire. This is what I'm here to do. So we bring our higher self inward, we own it into our bloodstream, into our bones, into our voice. And we're like, so this is who I'm here to be. And I love how this Lion's Gate is really powerful this year. It's also a completion of karmic loops, which is we've passed through eclipses and plasma waves and planetary shocks, and we're still in planetary shocks, right? But what we're doing is we're saying, I want to integrate all these and I want to shift. I want to become this powerful with it. I don't want to keep looping in the karmic, like, oh, and then I got to relearn this and I got to relearn this, because this is a portal that's going to burn through all of those loops and through the residual that's like, this is who I used to be. This is who I am now. And this is the 8. Thoth switched them, but this is also my birth card. So this is who I've been in all of these videos as I've been talking to you. It's kind of cool. So in addition, the Lion's Gate is also when Sirius aligns, and it's sort of like the recall button, which is, do you remember what you said you were going to do when you came to Earth? And we want you to embody into full consciousness now. So that Sirius planet behind the sun onto Earth lets us know that it's like, hey, you came here to be fully conscious. Be fully conscious now. Let things, let your body expand, because the waiting is over. Now we're here. Now we're here to roar like this lion, right? Now we're here to say, like, how do I step into the intention of what I want to be when I'm here and not get dragged around by the momentum or the swirling or the solar flares, like, oh, me, victim energy, I don't know what to do. It's no, I want to step forward in intention. So I have 6 tips for you. Before I go there, I do have a Patreon station. I am taking the month of August off because I want to spend a lot more time out here in the mountains. And now that it's getting quieter, since July is over, the park is where I want to be. Don't want to come back if I don't have to. And so we're going to resume on September 2nd with our discussion. So if you haven't joined yet, target September 2nd to come join and be a part of this beautiful conversations that we're having. Okay. All of the links for Patreon, all of the ways to get a hold of me are down below, including how to order the Indigo assignment book. All right, tips. I got 6 tips for you. The first one is trade this very tight grip you have for clear directives. So instead of saying, holding on and saying, I don't know where it's going, you say, I want it to go this way. I'd love to see what that looks like. And you start to write it, right? So you're not controlling or managing every outcome. What you're doing is you're naming what's true, which is, oh, so an example would be, oh, that plasma field that came in on the 29th really opened me up and rattled me loose from some of the things I'd been holding on to. And I've got this. Kim is also saying here in the discussions that these last 2.5 years is how long this has been going on. And now it's hit this peak, right? So loosen the tight grip that you have and name what's true for you. So it might be, a practice might be that, to write down on a piece of paper what I'm no longer available for and spell out. Let your field respond. Let the dominion begin where the people pleasing ends. Because we're not people pleasing. We're not giving in to anybody anymore. We're actually sovereign and saying, nope, this is where I want to go. This is what I want to do. Number 2, choose your reality daily. Daily, hourly, daily, which means that the timelines in 2025 is moving really fast and fluidly. And Dominion says to us, I'm not stuck. I'm just undecided. I get to decide. I get to choose every single day where I want to go, what I want to do. So what that might look like is what energy am I standing in today? And what is it? How can I walk in the direction that I already want to go? Right? So for me, I was kind of like, I could sit in this house for the week and then maybe go out for the weekend, or I could just pack up now. I think I threw everything in my car between 12 and 3 o'clock on Thursday. And by 3 o'clock, I had a cold iced tea in my hand and was driving 2 hours up into the mountains and going like, nothing else matters right now. So this is where I choose the reality that I want to be in, number 2. Number 3, move from I should to I am. So control speaks to pressure. Oh, I'm feeling this pressure. Oh, my partner doesn't want me to do this. Oh, my work is saying this. Oh, my kids need this. Oh, all these shoulds and controls. And consciousness speaks to presence, which is, what am I noticing? What is asking, what is speaking to me in nonverbal ways, right? So when we move to I am, it's completing the sentence from, instead of saying I should do this or that, you're like, I am. And then you complete it with, I'm a force of evolution and I'm here to embody it. And what am I going to embody right now? I am. Say that as often as you can. Number 4, root this fire, right, into your body, because it's not about escaping. It's about anchoring fire into form, anchoring that willpower, anchoring that, oh my goodness, I think I lost the page. Oh, there it is. Anchoring everything into place. I guess I didn't. Yeah, I did. I heard something blowing and I couldn't tell what it was, and it was my last page. So let's see. I can't remember what the 5th one was. Cannot remember it at all. What I want to say is that I'm going to change the 5th one to have compassion, because what's happening as we are embodying this physical world, right? And this is what it looks like in the thought deck, like getting into the sun and resting and saying, this, I've done everything I can. Now I get to put my armor down in my work. And she gets to say, I now get to rest after all of the years of getting to this point. So when we look at this is where we have compassion for, this is what I've been through. This is what other people have been through. This is what is still going on for some. And this is how I hold this. When we go over to the pentacles where did she go? She's not here. When you go over to the pentacles in different cards, you have this resting, this sort of like being, just accepting all that is. And and the King of Pentacles in the Light Seers is different than this King of Pentacles. This guy's holding a fireball of magic on his lap, and he's just letting it be. So compassion, have compassion for you, for the stage that you're in, and for everything that is necessary for you as you work through all of this. This is so interesting. It's totally strange to lose my notes. So what I would say is that this is a magnificent time. Take this Lion's Gate, walk forward with sovereignty, walk forward with choice, walk forward with consciousness. And I think that that's going to be on Friday, the 8th. So enjoy the process of going through it. It's going to last through. We'll talk about what it was like on the flip side of that next Sunday. And I will see you then. Feel free to leave comments and observations down so that we can share with this. And again, go back and look at the first attempt so you could see what St. Mary's looks like behind me rather than this conference room. All right, take care. I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.